Hello and welcome to another video. This is another one in the series about boating and water related videos, and I want to talk about mooring posts or mooring points in this video. Mooring, as I'm sure most of you will know, is where you, so to speak, park your boat or your ship and you tie it onto something like a mooring point on the quay. And again, we're in Graiguenamanagh because last time I was there when I was doing the video about the high crosses, which are here now, I left a lot of notes for future videos and I have to work on those. So if I want to show the notes there, I go into here and I left a note here that says 16 mooring points on bollards and 10 mooring points on white bollards. And this is drinking water, but this is for yet another video. So I'm only going to work off these two. And the tags for mooring you'll find on the wiki is the key is CMark:type. The value is mooring, and then you can be more precise, and there are different types of mooring. But the one I'm going to use is bollard, because the ones that I saw in Graiguenamanagh look like bollards. They don't look like a mushroom like these ones. I actually went around with the 360-degree camera in Graiguenamanagh, so I should have some footage of them actually. So that's me there, this walk. So you see these white bollards here. They all have little rings on top, and that's where people tie their boats to. So if I go along here, you can see them, and you can see the boats being moored there. So there are all these white bollards with a little ring and boats tied onto them, and it continues on. As I said, so there are 10 here, and then there's a bit of a break, and then there's 16 more, like my note said, and then it continues on. And they're not the only mooring points along the quay. There are also rings on the wall here, but since I didn't leave notes and I can't see them in the mapillary, I can't map them now. But they didn't seem to be in use as much as these ones here, the bollards. So I'm only going to map the bollards. So I'll go in here. And Graiguenamanagh has the new imagery, the new Bing imagery, because it profits from County Carlow having the new imagery. It's so close. The River Barrow is the boundary between County Carlow and County Kilkenny, and that's why they added the imagery for Graiguenamanagh as well. So they're actually visible. If I just turn the data off, you can see the points here actually. So I didn't actually need the notes, but I didn't know that when I left the notes. I didn't know that there would be new imagery there. Because the wall is mapped, it makes it a little bit more difficult to see them. But anyway, I'll do the first one. Let's start here maybe. There's a slipway which is already mapped. I'm going to do that in the next video probably. So I leave a point here, and then I'll see CMark. Hopefully there is a preset. Would help if I spelled it correctly. CMark:type doesn't seem to be a preset. We have the same problem on Osmond and in Everydor. So you have to go down to the point and type CMark:type. So that comes up at least. Mooring. And then it says here should be a standalone point. But they are on a little bit of a wall, so they're not really standalone. So we can't really do that. So we'll leave it on the wall. And the other one then is the category. So I'll just copy this here. CMark:mooring:category. Paste that here, and it is a type of a bollard. If I had the ones on the quay or on the wall, I could have used the wall there, but I don't. So bollard. And source, let's say survey and Bing. So you see it has this little cute anchor symbol, and then so I don't have to type it over and over and over again. I can just copy, highlight the node, copy, Control C, paste, and then it looks a bit different there. It looks like another type of mooring thing, and I can just move it here where the white blob is. That is the next one, and drop it there, and so on, and continue on until I have 16. That's me there. Seems to be a gap here, so the wall doesn't actually go all the way through, which is here. So I split the wall here and delete this bit of the wall and continue on. I'm surprised there is no preset for it, because the use is what, 62,000? I think that should warrant a preset in either of the applications, or any rather, because it's not in the ID editor. It's not, I just checked in Osmond, and not in every door. But maybe the waterway mapping is just like the stepchild of OpenStreetMap. Is just not given as much focus or effort as the street mapping. Let's just go back here, because I'm not entirely sure if there is one at this point here where the slipway is. Oops, I went too far. Is there so that's the little crossing here. Pedestrian crossing should be here. Just move that. And there is one at the last point of the wall here. And then there's a life ring, which my mom actually asked me yesterday, are the life rings mapped along the River Barrow? And I said, I'm not so sure. So that'll be another video, because it's also water related. Will I add this one now? No, I'll keep that for another video. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oops, I should have done that. 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I think I miscounted in the note. Maybe it was 17 instead of 16. But the sum would be 27 then. So I can resolve the note. The notes. Could have done that after uploading. Added mooring bollards. Source Bing Pillory survey. And I can't help this, you know, that I don't think it's correct that they should be standalone, because they're, you know, in real life they're not standalone, they're on that wall. Can't be helped. I guess I could have put them slightly next to the wall just to satisfy the warnings, but that's not what they actually look like in real life. And you see that it actually continues on there. There are more of these bollards. So I suppose I could do that. I'll do that when I'm finished with the video. You don't have to watch me add more. And upload. I don't think they show on this, in this map style, because it's not water related. And they won't show on my Osmond now because I've only just added them. I could add them in Osmond if I wanted to, but there is no preset. I can show you that. if I won't save it because I don't exactly know where they are here because I don't have the Bing imagery. So if I add the point here, if it lets me, and I go to Actions, Create POI. In POI type, if I type in CMark :type, nothing comes up. So I have to go to Advanced. No, I have to delete this up here because it's not an amenity. I have to go to Add Tag CMark type mooring, and then add the category and everything, which is a bit of a hassle. If you know that you're going to map a couple more, you can create a preset, which I've explained with defibrillators, I think. So I'm not going to explain the same. It's the same principle, you just use the tags from the wiki that you need. And that makes it a bit easier to add more of the same type if there isn't a preset. So it's easier to do it in the browser, especially when you have good imagery like the Bing imagery that we have now for parts of Ireland, where you can actually see the mooring points. Of course, you still have to know that that's what they are. So you kind of have to do it after having been there in person, or if you have good mapillary imagery, which you can't always rely on. But that's how you add mooring points. And I hope you found that useful, and maybe you'll add a couple yourself next time you're by the sea and you don't see them mapped, which is again probably difficult because unless you activate the POIs, the nautical POIs, you won't know that if they're mapped already, because they're not in the standard view. You'll have to activate that to check. I explained that in a previous video. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you soon again. Slán go fóill.